Greetings fellow Dogorans and welcome to another Mafia 3 news update, and this is the gameplay analysis and trailer analysis of the reveal that Mafia 3 had at Gamescom on August the 5th in Cologne, Germany, and most people missed the gameplay because it was mainly released in interviews and snippets, but first I'm going to give you the general gist of the cinematic trailer. The link is in the description below to watch it. We find out that our main protagonist in the game is a half-black, half-white Lincoln Clay, who is a Vietnam War veteran who was kind of an orphan, really young at birth, and has been traumatized from that experience because the Italian mob came down and killed his family, basically, killed his mother and father, and he's been really hung up on that, and after he's done his 3 years now in the Special Forces at Vietnam, he is now looking for revenge, really, looking for vengeance of what's happened to his family. And we see a lot of different areas as we see him caught up by the Italian mob at Sammy's bar. It kind of seems like a jazz club, it seems to be. And the person that blew up that bar was the person that he's got in the back of the van, as you can tell by his shoes. We also see that we've kind of got three companions, if you will, and they are Cassandra, who is that woman with the black hair, the Irish mobster on the left-hand side, who looks a bit like Trevor from GTA, and we have Mr. Vito Scaletta. So yeah, Vito is in this game, which a lot of people wasn't really expecting. I was, to be one of them, wasn't expecting to see Vito in the game, because it's kind of strange for the Mafia series to do that. The only time we saw the protagonist from the first game was as a cameo in Mafia 2, and is very, very exciting to see him in the game. So let's go straight into the gameplay that we was able to see. Okay, the first thing that I got here was that you can vault over items now, vault over areas now. Like as in Mafia 2, what we had was the press LB or press L1, whichever console you was playing, to go over objects, to climb over objects. It was very clanky, very stiff, but now you can just run up to objects and just jump over them, which is very good to see. Another thing I want to get from this screenshot as well is if you look at the HUD at the bottom right, or the UI at the bottom right of the screen, it's very reminiscent of something of GTA, you know. Like, I don't know what it is, this game's going to get a lot of comparisons to GTA, and I just thought I'd point this one out because it just kind of made me have a little giggle when I looked at it, and hopefully it will become in handy, you know, when playing the game. Also, as well, if you look at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, we have a new gun UI, kind of gun system to kind of have a look at, because in Mafia 2, you was toggling on the D-pad to see what guns we have. Now it seems very streamlined and a lot better for us to use, and a lot more helpful, really, as it shows the weapon and a few crucial stats at the bottom, which I'm sure we'll find out later on. As one of them we can see is definitely grenades, as you know, it's got the frag grenade symbol and how many we've got next to it. And another one is the health kind of cross that we've got there, because it definitely looks like this game is not going to be the regenerative health that we had in Mafia 2, where your health regrows over time. Okay, so one thing I want to mention here is if you look at the mobsters' clothing that we're fighting against, it's very different to what we've seen the black mob wearing, so it's definitely showing that we're getting different crime families in this game, which has been confirmed, and we're fighting against different crime families in the game, which is very exciting to see, and also different nature of crimes. We're not just having Italian-American this time, we're going to get Irish, black mob. It's going to be interesting to see. Okay, another thing that we see here is we have a different move for Mafia now. The charge takedown, which you can see at the left, which is going to be kind of a quick time thing where you're running at someone and you just press B to charge, as you do here, and then you takes out this cool animation that we're about to see just now. Definitely a much more streamlined effect again, which I'm seeing a lot of in this game, because in Mafia 2 it was kind of just go up to someone, press circle, start a fight, and then enter that kind of stiff fighting mode that you get where you get light hit and heavy hit. So it's definitely interesting to see a lot of different stuff in there. Okay, one thing I want to mention here is that we've got that kind of close-up shot that we have in Mafia 2, but it's a bit too close for me. I would like it to be kind of pulled back just a little bit more, you know, because it does feel a little bit unnatural to kind of go into that real close-up shot that we're getting, which I'm not a huge fan of personally, but hopefully it could be changing as well. Look at the clothing that the enemy has got on, and it definitely looks like we're getting different families as well. Okay, now we see driving, and we see this thing that says kill and spare. And it definitely looks like this game is going to be a main mission because it says Operation Pale Horse, so we can assume that this is going to be a mission in the game. And the kill and spare show that we are getting choices in this game, which goes with the motto at Hangar 13 that every player story is unique. So we can decide to either kill this person and be done with him and not face the consequences, or spare him and be the kind of nice guy, and then probably he'll come back and rattles in and then face the consequences later in the game, which is very different to see. Another thing that I liked about this driving is the wing, the kind of back mirror, the wing mirror that we've got at the top, which should definitely be in more games so that we don't have to kill ourselves to see what's happening behind us. We can just see it naturally, which I've personally enjoyed. We get to see the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry that you're going to have to look past the IGN watermark, but they're the only company that has this gameplay. You can see that it's a radius now, and not just you hide away from the cops for a little bit and wait till it goes away. Now you've got to get out of the zone, very much like Watch Dogs was, and really was the only solid of that game. So there's definitely a lot of good to see here. Plus the speedometer at the bottom of the screen as well is different to what we had before in Mafia 2, and looks a lot more streamlined. You know, there's a lot more different areas on the screen now that we're looking at, and it's kind of keeping the main focus on the road, but you've got other areas to look around. It's like driving in real life, I'd say. You look down to your speedometer and look up to your back mirror. Okay, another thing I want to see here is car combat. As you see that you can select a gun to shoot someone, and car combat is back now in the Mafia series, something that was gone since Mafia 1. And also we see the little arrows that are pointing to the tyre of the car, because vehicle combat is going to be a big part of Mafia 3, and you can shoot tyres to make them possibly do a barrel roll or shoot up into the air. Very exciting stuff that we're seeing here. Okay, another thing here that I want to quickly say is that it's a cool animation, but if you look at the map again, this isn't a marked house. You know, this is just a general house that we can go to and take it down if we have to, or just enter it and have a look, because if most of the areas that you get in open world games, pretty much all of them are relevant to the story, they're marked on the map. This one isn't, so we can assume that there's going to be a lot of open buildings to explore, which is exciting as well, and a lot of kind of mob areas and mob buildings that we have to discover for ourselves through interrogation and things, which is exciting to see. Okay, another thing here is that at the top it says Uncle Lou responds to criminal operation, to loss of criminal operation. And we can see the little kind of lightning mark on top of the car, which is exciting to see because it's kind of showing off our enemies now on the actual main screen, which people can delve their own opinions for, which is different than what it was in Mafia 2 when it was just on the minimap. Another part I like about this end gameplay of this car drift as well is that we're seeing a lot of the technical upgrades of the lighting effects from the sun and the shadows, and also a lot of the rain and the water and the reflections from that. A lot of technical upgrades from Mafia 2, which is great to see. And finally, we are seeing the real taste of this game, which is a Caucasian police officer harassing an African American male. So I'm going to predict that this is going to lead to a mission where Lincoln Clay is going to attack the cop, maybe, but race is definitely going to be a major part of Mafia 3, which is very exciting to see. Okay then, so let's now go into the screenshots. And on this one, we definitely still see that the cover shooting mechanics of Mafia 2 is staying in the game. And we see the really nice rain effects as well on the ground, as we see the reflection of the two men in the puddle below. And a lot of different works on the statues as well. This is very reminiscent of Sin Square in New Orleans, and it's going to be really interesting to see. In this next one, we see Lincoln with a Tommy gun, and he's killing a man, you know, and it's really cool to see that the Tommy gun is going to be staying in Mafia 3, and look at the area as well. I love the carpet, and there's a lot of different things going on in this room, you know. They've not just done a boring scene, they've done a lot to kind of improve the environment, and look at the blood splatting off the enemy. So, you know, a lot of technical upgrades that we're seeing from Mafia 2 to 3. In this next image, we see a hurt Lincoln Clay with his blood on his neck, and we also see him firing at these mobsters in this jazz nightclub. It looked like people fleeing the scene, and it definitely looks like these people mean business, you know, these mobsters. They don't want people attacking their turf. They're going to protect it as much as they can. And I love the panic of the people. They're not all running in the same direction. They're running in different directions. Some are running up this stair. Some are running to another exit away from the gunfire. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the difference that we're getting. On screenshot number 4, this I'd say is my favourite one of the bunch, as this gives a taste of the world that we're living in. You know, we're seeing Moultons, you know, different companies, Cohen's. We're seeing a lot here, a lot in the palm trees in the middle of the road, the clouds in the sky, the shadows, the diverse nature of New Orleans. And this is really what I'm excited about, the 60s culture, and it's a great view, and I'm looking forward to exploring this city. This is another screenshot to kind of show us what New Orleans is going to be like. We've got them, you know, them kind of balconies and archways and the buildings and the rain effects on the floor. There's definitely a lot of dynamic weather patterns in this game as we compare to the dry one from before, so that's going to be interesting to see and different to what you get into quite a few games now, like Batman Arkham Knight, where it just keeps the one weather pattern. So I'm very excited to see that and seeing how different the game is going to look. Okay, this screenshot is probably the one you've most been likely to see, as this is representing the racial tension in this game. And I'm really happy that this game has got the balls to do it, of this kind of white versus black impact. And it's definitely going to be happening this time, because this is the deep south of America, let's not forget. And it's a Caucasian man harassing a African-American couple. And I'm going to predict that there's going to be a lot of missions like this, where you're attacking police officers for harassing people of your own race, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what this is going to have an impact on the main story, because the civil rights movement was in major progress at this time in the South of America. Okay, the 7th screenshot is a drift and shows more of the car combat that we saw, and is going down the same road that we saw the view of previously, and he's drifting, and that man is standing in a very dodgy place right there. And it's interesting to see a lot of different cars going in different directions. You know, it's not static, it's a live city, it appears. And it's going to be fun to kind of go in these big muscle cars, and I'm very looking forward to driving them in this physics space that they've got. And number 8 is a very cool explosion, probably by the shot that was fired by Lincoln as he shot the tire, and it kind of exploded into the house. And one thing I would like to see is a little bit of like damage on the buildings as well, because then buildings are going to be affected by this. And this looks like further down the road in that nighttime scene that we saw earlier on in the screenshots. So thank you for watching my Mafia 3 gameplay trailer and screenshot analysis video here, and if please leave your comments below what you thought of the gameplay, what you thought of the trailer. What do you think of New Orleans? You know, what about the trailer excited you? Was it the vehicle combat? Was it the cover-based shooting? Are you happy that's done in the game? Or the graphical improvements? What's got you excited? Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to try and make this the Mafia News Hub, Mafia 3 News Hub, and try and get as much out there as I can, as many rumours as I can cover, as many gameplay as I can find. I'll be dissecting it and analysing. I'll be dissecting it and giving my opinions on it all as soon as I can. And also make sure you watch some other videos on the channel where I dissect rumours from the time, and it's interesting to see how different they are to what the actual game is going to be like. So I hope you subscribe. Please like the video as well. Follow me on Twitter at DeGorasC, where I'll be tweeting out as much news updates as I can. And also, yes, subscribe to join the fellow Degorans. Goodbye.